Good morning. I must be hungry because I got up, way before my alarm. I got up probably about 20 to 5, 4:40. Started packing up. So I had my first breakfast, got all packed up. It's 5:30 now. Just barely starting to get light up in the sky, but it's dark in the forest. And I'm all packed up. I'm going to be heading out. So here I'm going to try to get there before 8, 7:30 to 8, somewhere in that range. I got about 5.5 miles, but it's all uphill, and I think the last mile is in sand. So it might take me more like 2.5 hours. So we'll try and get there by 8, have another breakfast, and then we'll do the lunch buffet at 12:30. Looking forward to Timberline Lodge. Let's see, last night was real good. Got to bed a little bit later. Got to bed closer to 9, so I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. I mean, I don't know, 7.5, 8 hours instead of the usual 9. So it was a good night. Only got down to 48 and no condensation. So you gotta like that. I'm gonna be walking first little part of the trail using my headlamp because it's still really dark, but it'll lighten up here, in the next 20 minutes or so. Getting a super early start. We'll see it on down the trail. Across the highway, still pretty dark. You can see the sun coming up over there, but I'm headed up this way. So we'll still hike with our headlamp for another 20 minutes, half hour or so, till I can see. Okay, here's a nicer view of Mount Hood. We're 6,000 feet up Mount Hood. I'm not sure how tall it is, but we're at 6,000 feet right now. I got about another maybe 700 feet to go to get to Timberline Lodge. It's 5.5 miles from where I camped on up to Timberline Lodge, about 2,200 feet gain. So it's uphill all the way. And just to make it a little bit more challenging, someone decided to make the last mile uphill in the sand. So that's, borderline fun, maybe a little bit less than fun. It's going to take a little bit more in sand to get between a PCT hiker and breakfast. We'll just slog through it. I got just over a mile left. So we're going to be heading up the trail, go get us some breakfast. Oh, surreal day. See, over here kind of bright and sunny. At Mount Hood, headed uphill in the sand here. Back over here looks a little ominous. Almost looks like it's going to rain, but I don't think there's rain in the forecast, so hoping the sun just burns that off. We'll see. My first glimpse of it. Still about half a mile away, and it's cold. Whew, wind's blowing. Okay. Made it. Timberline Lodge, kind of coming in the back off the Pacific Crest Trail. And here's way east. Here's where we're going to do breakfast over here, lunch over here. So we'll go check it out. It's about 7:45. So made pretty good time. Okay, so this is the world famous Timberline Lodge on Mount Hood. It serves as a ski area, and you get to ski down Mount Hood. It's famous for a lot of reasons. It was built in 1936 and 1937 using Depression era works funding. Just a beautiful lodge. But it's also, for those of you old enough, serves as a backdrop to The Shining with Jack Nicholson. So we're gonna have the lunch buffet. It's an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. It was kind of a bus. I got up early and hiked over here trying to get breakfast at the cafe, but they don't serve breakfast anymore. I guess the cafe's closed now, and it's only open to hotel staff. So I've been here the last couple hours trying to figure out my way around the fires. Still working on that. That's gonna be tricky. But it's almost lunchtime, so I'm gonna go inside, have a look around, and then go have some lunch. See you in a little bit. Okay, so all along here, it's kind of a museum of the lodge's history, the general area's history. Looks like President Roosevelt stayed here back in 1937. Okay, this is the Cascade Dining Room where they have the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. I did some damage there. I spent 2 hours there. I think I went through probably 6 or 7 plates of food, plus about 3 dessert plates. So I had real good beef tenderloin and mushroom sauce. I had grilled salmon, a bunch of different salads. Had a lot of fruit, a waffle, Belgian waffle with syrup, whipped cream, and strawberries. Potatoes, vegetables. I got my calories full. Any more and I'd probably be sick. Just kind of view of the buffet, and they just kept the food coming. So, I'm sure they got it worked out, but PCT hikers can do some damage there. So I did my best. I'll see you on down the trail. Here's the view from the patio beyond the dining room. Nice view of Mount Hood. See some blue sky, so I'm gonna have to get on the trail before it starts. Weather starts turning on me. Here's a picture of me in the lobby. They got not the one from the movie, but a replica axe from The Shining. So here's a photo of me holding the axe from The Shining. Eat your heart out, Jack. Here's Johnny. Here's Heidi, the resident, one of the 2 resident St. Bernards. You got Heidi and Bruno. That's Heidi number 9. Welcoming everyone in the lobby. Okay, we got a problem here. Coming doing this crossing here, and crossing this log, which made me a little bit nervous. So it's kind of like holding on this rock, getting across, and I thought, well, instead of going all the way across on the log, it might be better just to get off on these rocks. So I stepped on the rock, and that one right there, my foot just slipped out, and I fell hard, and my chin landed hard onto this rock, real hard. And I don't know how I didn't bloody my chin. I think my beard actually protected my chin, but I think I cut my lip a little bit, and I chipped my tooth, my front tooth. A couple pieces fell out. I got a problem there. Hopefully it's not too bad. We'll have to see what happens up when we get to Cascade Lots. Yeah, this isn't good. I guess it might have a little bit of blood there. I can't tell. It's a little bit bright out, but there's my chipped tooth. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, that's the front tooth took a gouge out of. So that's not good. I don't think I want to go back up to Timberline Lodge, because there's no services there. I guess I could get a ride in the government camp maybe. I don't even know if there's a dentist there. But, alright, we'll have to see what we want to do. You know, the worst part is, and this is real shocking, 2 other PCT hikers saw me do this. One was just up here, like 30 feet. And the other one was behind me. And I'm like picking myself up off the rocks. I'm like bent over, just picking up my gear and like just gathering my senses. And the hiker behind me just walks right on by. Doesn't even ask. And this is shocking because I'd never think this of another PCT hiker, but she never even like stopped to say, hey, are you okay? Or can I help or anything? She just kept walking right on by. Shocking. Because I mean, I took a hard spill, and you know, some of my water bottles fell out, and it was a good spill right in the middle of the stream. So I'm shocked. I didn't even get to see their faces. I won't even recognize them up the trail. But all of a sudden, her feet just walked right by. I'm like hunched over in pain, and just keep walking. Very, very surprising. All right, well, I'm gonna pick myself up and continue down the trail. Hopefully I didn't do any major damage. Hey, gorgeous waterfall across this big, really deep gorge. Still at the base of Mount Hood here. This beautiful waterfall. Hard to tell. Yeah, it's probably 50 feet maybe tall. It's hard to tell. But it just, there's several smaller ones working their way all the way up. Beautiful waterfall. The clouds are really coming in. Still got like 5.5 miles. It's gonna be a late night tonight. But I'm gonna still try and make the camp at 12.5 miles from Timberline. It'll probably be 7:30 or 8 by the time I get there. We'll see if I can pull it off. See you on down the trail. That's a trail up there somewhere. This is a gorgeous viewpoint right here. Just this very, very steep gorge. But it just goes all the way around. There's a point there. But it's just steep on all sides. So I know PCT can't go down there somewhere. I must have missed the trail somewhere. I'll have to backtrack, but this is just an awesome viewpoint. But I don't even think a mountain goat could do it up here. All right, you gotta turn around and figure out where the trail went. Okay, I have another pretty significant creek crossing, and I tell you, at this spill I took earlier today and chipped my tooth, my confidence is rattled. So I worked my way up the stream a little bit, and you know, it splits into two right about here, and I was able to get across one island down there, but I couldn't get all the way across. I had to make my way back and work my way all the way upstream. I found another log bridge over that I was able to get across, but I tell you, the confidence is rattled, and I really didn't want to ford. I mean, I could just take my, you know, just walk across and ford it. It's not that deep, but you know, it's almost 7 o'clock, and I'd have wet feet and wet socks all night. So I didn't really want to do that. So I made it across, but it took a little bit of time, and yeah, I gotta get my confidence back. This one was a little bit tough. All right, now I gotta work my way back down the trail, and still got a couple miles to go. We'll see you down the trail. I'm gonna push my comfort zone here. It's already 7 o'clock. I normally like to, you know, get in camp between 5 and 6. So, but I need to hike later today. The Pacific Crest Trail continues down this way. There's an alternate route up here for the Ramona Falls, and they say it's a beautiful falls, and it reconnects back to the PCT in like, I don't know, 1.5, 2 miles, something like that. So I'm gonna take that, see if we can get back to the PCT tonight. It's about the same distance, but it's a little bit more elevation. Hopefully I'm not I think I'm just out of my comfort zone. You know, it's 7 o'clock. I still got an hour and a half of light. So I should be able to do it. So let's go up and see what Ramona Falls looks like. Okay, so this is worth it. This is Ramona Falls. Look at that, what a gorgeous waterfall. Yeah, definitely worth the side trip. Especially, you know, I'm from San Diego, but the actual town I live in is Ramona. So, this is definitely fitting. It's just a beautiful waterfall. Yeah, it cascades all the way down. Nice on this alternate loop. They got all these log bridges engineered to get you across these creek crossings. So I have to get my cage rattled earlier today. That's very nice. Greatly appreciated. Okay, so today was an emotional roller coaster. You know, I don't really consider myself a real emotional guy. I'm kind of more stoic. But today was a lot of ups and downs. Got rattled a little bit today. So, you know, start off, I got up real early. You know, what, 4:40 in the morning. And I was on the trail at 5:30. So it was still dark. I had to hike by a headlamp. I was trying to get to Timberline Lodge for breakfast because I wanted to eat an early breakfast and then, you know, take advantage of the famous lunch buffet. So I hustled up. It was like 5.5 miles, and it was like a 2,000-foot climb, a little bit more than that. I hustled up there and got there before 8 o'clock. So I was, you know, I was pretty happy about that. But then I get into the lunch buffets in the main Timberline Lodge dining room. But there's also this Way East ski building right next to it. And that's where the cafe is with the breakfast. So I went there and, you know, asked around what time the lunch buffet opens. And it turns out they stopped doing it for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's something about they couldn't charge. They had problems charging for it or something. You know, just a week ago, people were raving about how good of a breakfast was on the Far Out app. And here, you know, today, no breakfast. They did start serving some lunch like at 10:30, but only to hotel staff, not to the public. So that was pretty disappointing. I think I had a power bar to tide me over to lunch. I moved my lunch reservation up to start at noon instead of like 12:30 or 1. So then I spent the morning just kind of researching what I'm going to do, you know, about the fires and Cascade Locks. And I was talking to some other hikers, and then the morning just got worse because, you know, hikers said that there were, you know, a storm coming up. So, you know, today's Wednesday. It's supposed to start raining tomorrow through Friday and Saturday. So that's not good. The situation about getting rides around the fire north of Cascade Locks, that's not very good. So you know, I put a few feelers out and nothing's hit yet with trail angels. There's just not the trail angel support like there was around Crater Lake. There is some kind of, you know, bus and train, but then there's still like a 60-mile hitchhike. So that's not ideal. But I'll get into the logistics of that when I get to Cascade Locks and discuss that further. But I'm a little bit worried about the storm because it's, you know, up at the Timberline Lodge, it's supposed to, you know, storm pretty good and get cold, you know, like 40 degrees. So that's hypothermia weather. So that's not real good to be out hiking. And I've got a rain poncho, but it's not a good one. So a little bit concerned there. So I looked to Cascade Locks. It's a little bit better. It's still going to rain, but it's you know, it's supposed to be a little bit lighter of a rain, not as heavy of a storm, and it's warmer down there. It's like 6,000 feet lower than Mount Hood, or lower than Timberline Lodge. So, you know, it's a little bit warmer, or quite a bit warmer. You know, it's like in the 60s. You know, so that's not really hypothermia scare. So I changed my strategy. I was gonna, get in there like Saturday morning, have a nice relaxing trip down there. But now I got to hustle down. So I tried to get as many miles as I could today, and then tomorrow I'm going to try and do as many before it starts raining in the afternoon, and see, if I can get close to the Cascade Locks. That just minimizes the number of miles I have to do in the rain, and it'll be warmer and lighter rain. So I got out there, hustled, and so I felt okay with that plan. Not ideal. I don't like being wet hiking in the rain, but it is what it is. So you got to deal with it. So I was making my way down, and at the river crossing you saw, I took a bad spill, and I chipped my tooth, rattled my cage a little bit, and that just really kind of shook me up, because the chipped tooth, I think it'll be okay, but that was a hard fall. I could have like cracked my jaw, or just done some real damage, and just hiking alone, and being 2,000 miles away from home, and you take a fall like that, you start to feel vulnerable. So that kind of like shook me up for the rest of the day. And this is still another major, not major, but significant river crossing, and I just didn't have any confidence. I made it across, but it was my confidence is still shaken, and my cage was kind of rattled for pretty much all day today. I did take the alternate route, the Blue Blaze, over to Ramona Falls, and that was a highlight. Gorgeous waterfall, well worth it. But then I'm getting off the PCT and doing that hike. So my comfort zone's being on the PCT, and I hiked later. It's 8 o'clock now, and I haven't even set up camp yet, and it's getting dark. I'm not going to eat a full dinner because I'm still stuffed. I mean, I got my money's worth out of that cafe. I think I had 6 or 7 plates worth of food, and I stayed there till like 2, a little bit after 2, and somehow, I don't know how it happened, but somehow a little bit of cheese and some turkey and salami ended up in a Ziploc bag in my backpack from there. Not sure how that got in there. But, so I'm kind of nibbling on that for dinner, and I had a protein shake with my chipped tooth, and you can kind of see it there. It's not too bad in the front and the back. It's like 3 times bigger in the back, the chip out of it. But there was really no pain. The tooth wasn't loose until I started eating. So that got me concerned a little bit. And when I started eating, and my teeth come together, I can feel it there. So hopefully that's not bad. I'm going to try. Here's another reason to get in Cascade Locks early. I'm going to try and find a dentist, and see if I can get in a dentist Friday afternoon. That could be tough. So I'm just another reason to hustle down to Cascade Locks as fast as I can. So I'll set up camp here. Probably get to sleep a little bit later. Burn the candle a little bit at both ends today. But I still did like 12 or 12 and a half after Cascade Locks here, and 5.5 before. So I did almost 18 miles today, and that's taken 6.5 hours out at Cascade Locks. So I got up real early, and I hiked real late. That's not my normal. I usually get up early, but I like to be in camp by 5 o'clock, not 8 o'clock. So that's a little bit outside my comfort zone. And then I'm going to try and get up early again tomorrow. Probably not 4:40, but probably like maybe 5 o'clock, and get on the trail a little bit before 6. Just, every mile I can get in before the rain means 1 less mile I have to hike in the rain. So I'm going to try and hustle down the trail and do as many miles before it starts raining in the afternoon. I mean, there's a slight chance in the morning, but it gets up, around 80% later in the afternoon. And the closer I can get to Cascade Locks, the better it'll be, warmer and a lighter rain. A little bit of emotional roller coaster. Timberline Lodge was a highlight. The lunch buffet was really cool. Just beautiful building. The Ramona Falls was well worth the detour, and just the whole trail down, except for the river crossing, was very nice downhill. Good trail conditions for like 95% of the trail. So a lot of highlights today, but the you know, between missing breakfast and the rainstorm coming in and the challenge I'm going to have around getting around the fires and the chipped tooth, you know, jammed my finger a little bit, split my lip a little bit. But, you know, it could have been a lot worse. So a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. But we'll try and get my tent set up quickly and get as good a night's sleep as I can, and then hit the trail tomorrow. I'll probably have some extended tent time tomorrow because once it starts raining hard, I'm probably gonna, you know, get off the trail and set camp and just try and ride it out overnight. And I think it's supposed to be a little bit lighter on Friday, but I might have to, like, you know, a little bit later morning. So I'll have to check the weather. Just take it as it comes. That's all you can do. A lot of people, you know, I was trying to find out what other people were doing with the fires and that, and a lot of people were like getting off at Cascade Locks and just jumping around. But then you miss the last, you know, 55 miles of Oregon, don't get to cross the Bridge of the Gods into Washington. You know, so those are important milestones. So, you know, I don't want to, you know, I want to hike as much trail as possible, you know, being mindful of the PCTA closures of the trail and the recommendations. But, you know, following the PCTA guidelines, you know, I want to hike as much as possible, not skip around. I know a lot of people were doing that with the park fire. They were, you know, the trail would be closed for, you know, 100 miles, and, you know, they'd skip like 200 or 300 miles around the fire, and I want to minimize that. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll just deal with the rain a little bit. Okay, and enough of that. We'll catch you tomorrow.